Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw with Insider Travel Report. I'm here at Brownell Academy, and this has been an amazing meeting, and it's the first time I've come to it. This is Brownell, of course, is now a host agency, largely with independent contractors, and this is their kind of training area and their gathering point here for this one. But we're going to talk to actually Margaret Hayes, who is the director of
Advisor development.
Advisor development. I got that right, I guess. And we're going to talk to her about the program that she does here, as well as the fact that her last name is somewhat familiar because her father, Troy, is the head of the travel agency. We're going to talk about that a lot as well because she actually decided to join the agency. So we're going to talk about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Margaret, first of all, it's great to meet you, and let's talk about first the whole why you decided and how the progression of how you got to Brownell. Obviously, you grew up with your dad being head of the agency, but
Yes.
Why did you make that decision to become part of it?
That's a great question. I think that I thought I wanted to get into the travel industry for a long time, really, since I was really able to actually think about a career beyond, being an astronaut or whatever you think about when you're little. And I also knew that getting into the travel industry when you are fresh out of college can be challenging, especially on the advisor side. And it was important to me to get experience elsewhere and get some sales training. And so I kind of knew that was where I wanted to go eventually, but I figured I'd check and make sure that this industry is actually what I wanted to do. So I had a brief diversion into selling software, and that was a good gut check that I need to be selling something that I care about.
You do something that you don't like very much, and then you realize what you really like.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
and then I researched and found, I was living in Boston at the time, and I researched and found a tour operator that had nothing to do, no overlap with Brownell, other than probably some of the product we were selling is similar, but totally different model. All of the staff, all of the people selling were specialists in their destination. So I specialized in Southern Africa, and I got really good high volume sales experience there for 4 years. I loved it. It was a really fun place to be, and I got great training. And so then in 2020, I got such great training that I was offered a job while I was on safari from one of the safari company managers who asked if I wanted to come and join their team and move to Botswana. And I was 25 and I was feeling brave, and so I decided in February that I was going to do that. And I was supposed to move in April of 2020, so I never made it.
Yeah, for various reasons, pandemic being the primary one. Right?
Yes, I worked, pandemic being the primary one. Botswana was shut down, so I really was not even able to get a visa or anything. So I worked remotely for them for about a year and a half. I did go for about 6 weeks and lived in dusty little Mound during COVID lockdowns, which was interesting. But through all of this, I kind of realized that I did love the industry, and I wanted to be working my way towards Brownell. And kind of at the same time, Brownell was really roaring back. The incentives team was.
So you joined initially with the incentives team. Right?
Yes, I joined initially with the incentives team as a coordinator, helping the operations of these big programs, and then through that ended up on the advisor development team. So that's how I ended up at Brownell.
So let's talk about advisor development, because that is really kind of the key to your organization. Mm-hmm. It's how you bring in new people, and they don't have to be existing travel advisors.
That's right.
But talk about how that process works. And you have a mentoring. Mm-hmm. You've got another program called Catalyst, which was maybe people who had some experience. But talk a little bit about the mentoring program and the whole beginning, because you actually take them down to a week in Birmingham, where you're headquartered, and you give them and then you keep working with them for the rest of the year.
That is right. So our whole ethos on training is that we want our advisors to feel confident as they move through the industry, both in the knowledge that they have, but also the support that's behind them. Mm-hmm. We have decades of experience within Brownell, really incredible, intelligent people. So it's kind of how do you distill that and share that with people. And we have been running our mentoring program for almost 20 years. And so we have our 31st class is just joined, and we're on our 32nd. We'll join in July. And so that is kind of, how do you take people that have come from another career, another sphere, and teach them to be a travel advisor. And so we start with that week in Birmingham. We spend the whole rest of the year kind of filling in with some product knowledge, but mostly with sales training, with topic training, like fees. Why do you charge them? How do you charge them? How do you choose which partner to use? And then just one-on-one coaching through issues that people are having. And that, I think, is the biggest key, is that Brownell really focuses on the coaching and the business beyond the travel knowledge. And the travel passion. We really also...
Everybody wants to travel. Everybody. That used to be the primary reason why people became travel agents back in the day.
Right.
I like to travel.
Yes, exactly. But to run a business and have it last, you've got to also want to do that. You've got to be able to push through when you're not traveling, because you are helping other people travel.
Yeah. And in fact, one of the things you said earlier was that you kind of have to think of, maybe 75 people who could become potential clients that in your sphere, in your previous career, right?
The travel, the way that you want to build your business around. And that's different for every different advisor. You may be a cruise specialist. You may want to focus on safari. You may focus on a different realm of adventure travel. So you've got to think about that. For us, we focus on the luxury and ultra luxury end of things, but within that, family, cruise, all of that. So that's kind of our neck of the woods.
And then, of course, the fact that you are a 100-year-plus company is 1897?
1887.
1887.
It's
Well,
tattooed on my mind.
I know. I got to get to that's good. But when I saw that figure, and I always knew you guys had been around for a while, but I didn't realize you predated companies like American Express.
I know. It's really remarkable. And a lot of people don't believe me when they'll say, oh, when did Brownell start? And I'm like, 1887. They're like, 1987? No, 1887.
That's pretty amazing.
They're like, I can't believe travel agents still exist, let alone existed that long ago.
Yeah,
and
then
I get to
of course,
say we did.
Yeah, and of course now we're kind of in the heyday of being a travel advisor, right? And I think you probably have a lot of people coming in and approaching you about potentially being an advisor, right?
We do. We have a lot of inquiries that we get all the time from people that want to be an advisor, and so we kind of walk them through, are we the right match for you to get you where you want to go based on what your level of time investment you want, how much training you want, do you want to dip your toes in? Do you want to go full in? But we have a lot of people that want to jump full in and be a luxury travel advisor.
Well, tell me the sales pitch for Brownell about why should people become a travel advisor with Brownell?
That's a great question. For me, it is people that want to get out of the community as much as they put back in, and that they are interested in engagement with others. I think we have an incredible group of entrepreneurs. Brownell, as an agency, we treat our advisors as business owners first, and we look at your margins. We are here to coach you through and talk with you through how to make your business really successful. And that goes to what we were talking about earlier of there's lots of people that love travel, but for us, we want your business to last. And so looking at that on an individual basis, as opposed to doing things by rote or kind of trying to, get people back out, my whole job is, full-time job is to work with our advisors and help them solve problems. And that's any problem that comes up. And we have lots of people on our team who you can call them and they will help you work through whatever it is, and not just work through whatever it is, but make sure that you know how to do it on your own in the future if you need to. And that care in how it resolves is something that I don't think you find everywhere, that we really actually know all of our advisors. We know their families. We know what they're up to. We know how they're doing. If something goes wrong, we know the drill and we know their whole story, which is fun.
And you really want to make them profitable in a short period, within a year or two, right?
Yes. For the mentoring program, our goal is for them to be profitable within about a year. We tell most of our mentees, and we are not pushing a sales goal that is, our sales goal minimum is kind of a bar to clear. It is not something that we are hounding you to make sure that you reach certain metrics. But when I talk through, when we have candidates call and they're interested, I say that you can expect to break even within a year. If you've kind of got these elements and you're doing the work, you are very likely to break even within a year and hopefully profitable shortly thereafter.
Fantastic. Well, Margaret, it's wonderful to meet you here finally. I've heard a lot about you, and I learned about your.
We almost met in Vienna.
We almost met in Vienna. This is interesting. That, and then hopefully we'll see you maybe at a virtuoso one of these days, because that's where I see your dad all the time, and it's for the last 20 years. It's been great. But again, this is a wonderful meeting. I've enjoyed being here, and best of luck for the future, because it sounds like Brownell is back, and the travel agency profession is back.
Better than ever.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.